My beloved child, now that the clouds of doubt have begun to lift from your sight, I invite you to step into a new journey, one where what was once hidden will be revealed, and where truth will no longer remain a theory, but become a living experience between me and you. This is the moment I desire to speak to you, not only as the Creator, but as your Father, your guide, and the one who is closer than breath itself. From the beginning, even before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. I saw more than a physical form. I saw a destiny, a divine flow of purpose etched deeply into your soul. Nothing about you is accidental. No detail is wasted. Every facet of your personality, every weakness, every longing, they are all intentional pieces woven into the powerful design of my will. And I say this to you: you are the one chosen to carry a portion of heaven's plan onto the earth. Over the years, you may have felt aimless. You may have looked up at the sky, unsure of where you were going. You may have cried in silence, wondering if your existence had any meaning. I saw those tears, and I tell you, not one of them has been forgotten. To me, they were prayers without words, and I recorded every one of them. There were moments you believed you were forgotten, times you thought my silence meant I had turned away. But child, my silence was never a rejection. My silence was the sacred space I allowed so you could begin to hear the voice of your own soul, to discern my whisper among the clamor of countless other sounds. I never abandoned you. Even when you turned your back, I have always been near, walking with you, waiting for you, and ready to embrace you at any moment. And now, as the appointed time has come, I call you out of the shadows of confusion. My child, I summon you into the light, because I no longer want you to know me merely through others. I want you to hear my voice with your own spiritual ears, which I have now opened. I want you to experience me not through intermediaries, but through direct communion as a child speaks to their father. You have lived too long within the limits of your circumstances. Old wounds made you fearful to step forward. The words of others caused you to question your worth. You have withdrawn into a shell that seemed to protect, but in truth, it imprisoned your soul. But now, I come to break that shell. I come to declare that you were created to soar, to walk in freedom, to live as one who is unconditionally loved. My precious child, do not let the past define you. Do not let former mistakes hinder your steps. Do not let unhealed wounds keep you from reaching out for the healing hand extended to you now. I do not see you through the lens of failure. I see you through the eyes of mercy, through the heart of a compassionate father. And in my eyes, you are still priceless. You still hold a place that no one else can fill. Do not be afraid when you feel that you are not good enough. Do not retreat simply because you are not perfect. I did not choose you because you met all the qualifications. I chose you because I love you, and that love is an unshakable foundation. It does not depend on performance. It does not waver with emotion. It is eternal, and it is not proven merely by words, but by my very sacrifice for you. I am doing a new thing, something deep and irreversible. But to receive it, you must dare to let go of the old, the expectations that did not come from me, the outdated mindsets, and the burdens I never placed on your shoulders. You cannot step into a new season carrying the baggage of the old one. To rise, you must become lighter, and I will help you release it. That release may be painful, It may feel uncomfortable, but it is the pain of transformation, not of destruction. It is a sacred discomfort that leads to freedom, because on the other side of surrender is liberty, just as on the other side of yielding is power. And beyond the fog is the brilliance of light. I know you have waited a long time. Perhaps you've grown weary from promises not yet fulfilled, from doors that never seem to open, from prayers whispered into the night without an answer in sight. But know this, my timing is not like human timing. What you call delay, I call preparation. What you see as postponement, I define as divine timing. I am never late. Everything I do is calculated with perfect love and wisdom. My beloved child, when the appointed time comes, nothing can stop me from fulfilling what I have ordained. The thickest walls will crumble. The oldest chains will break. Generational curses will shatter under my power. And when I speak, nothing can stand against me. When I come, no force can block my path. You will begin to sense me stirring again the things once buried deep within your heart, the dreams you thought had died, the visions you assumed had withered, the possibilities you believed were forever lost. I will breathe my spirit upon them, all reviving, strengthening, deepening. You will begin to feel that holy movement within you once more. The quiet yet undeniable stirring, that is me. That is me awakening the part of your soul that had fallen asleep in pain. Let me do it. Let me enter your heart. Open the door wide, holding nothing back, not even the darkest corners, the deepest memories, the wounds you've never dared to face. I do not come to condemn. I come to heal. I do not come to expose your shame. I come to restore your wholeness. The light I bring does not aim to highlight what you're ashamed of. It comes to dissolve your chains and raise you up into someone completely new. You will no longer have to wear a mask. You will no longer have to play the part of the strong one. You will be free to be weak before me, and in that very surrender, you will find true strength. Strength not born of striving, but of surrender. Strength not rooted in proving anything, but in knowing to whom you belong. I will walk with you every step of the way. I will whisper when you need direction. I will hold you when you collapse. I will lift you up when you can no longer stand on your own. Not because you deserve it, but because I am your father. And a true father never abandons his child. Do not let fear steer your life any longer. Do not let the past rewrite the next chapter of your story. I am writing a new one. A chapter filled with hope, with life, with victory. You only need to place your pen into my hand. I will write through your life what heaven has long been waiting to reveal. Be aware of this truly wonderful truth. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to know everything. You only need one thing, faith. A simple, sincere, and willing faith. When you say yes, heaven moves. When you take a single step, I will open the entire path. When you let go of what you hold tightly, I will give you something no one can ever take away. Now is the time for you to rise, not by your own strength, but by the power I give, not to prove yourself, but to reflect my glory. You were not created to hide in fear. You were made to shine in the darkness, to be salt amid tastelessness, to stand firm when everything around you shakes. I know you're tired. I know you've tried many times and failed. I know you've believed and been disappointed. But what I am about to do is unlike anything before. It is not based on your merits. It does not come from your striving, but from my everlasting covenant with you. and that covenant cannot be broken. I will place within you a kind of peace that no one can take away, not a false stillness, but a solid peace in the midst of storms. When others worry, you will rest. When everything trembles, you will stand still, not because you are braver, but because you are anchored in my presence. I will give you new eyes to see what I am doing. You will no longer look through the old lens of failure or insecurity. You will see opportunity where others see risk. You will see doors where others see dead ends. You will see life where others see despair, because I am in you. And wherever I am, there is hope. You do not need to be like anyone else. I do not want a copy of someone else. I want you, with your voice, with your unique way of seeing, with your scars and the lessons you've walked through. Nothing in your journey is wasted. Everything will be used to testify of my love, my faithfulness, and my unchanging power. Never think it is too late. Do not believe the whisper that your opportunity has passed. I am the one who restores the years that were devoured. I am the one who can do in a moment what others strive for a lifetime to accomplish. I am the one who transcends time. And when I move, you will see that what you thought was lost was simply waiting for the right season to bloom. This is your season. This is your hour. This is the moment when you no longer wander in doubt, but step into the light, not to be seen, but to shine, not to be served, but to serve with a grateful heart that remembers it has been saved, not to build a name, but to answer a call far greater than anything else. So walk forward, trust, and remember, I go before you. I am within you, and I guard you, and nothing, no trial, no darkness, no wound, no mistake can separate you from the love I have for you. My beloved child, now that you have quieted yourself to listen, now that your heart is no longer stirred by the noise of the world, I begin to speak more clearly, because you have chosen to remain in my presence. I will reveal hidden things, things not meant for the ears of the many, but reserved for those who wait for me in stillness. You have learned how to wait, but now is the time to learn how to walk, not walking by instinct or emotion, but walking under the guidance of my Spirit. I will teach you how to lift your feet in the dark without needing to see clearly ahead, yet standing firm because you know who is holding your hand. The days ahead will not only be a time of miracles, but also a time when you are shaped in spiritual boldness. I will not merely lead you out of the storm. I will teach you how to walk through it as one who carries my power. Do not seek false peace through avoidance. I am not leading you into comfort. I am leading you into effectiveness. There are territories that only open to those who dare to go against the current. I am calling you to places not everyone dares to connote because you are stronger than others, but because you are more willing, and I will do great things through a willing heart. There is a truth you must understand. While the world rushes after the spotlight, I am teaching you to love simplicity. While others chase position, I am giving you influence. True influence does not come from visibility, but from depth. Influence does not come from being well known, but from living authentically in me. And know this, authentic influence always begins in the secret place. Before you can shake the outside world, I must first establish unshakable peace within your soul. My beloved child, I am cleansing the deepest places within you, the places where forgotten memories linger, where hidden wounds reside, where you close doors out of fear of being hurt again. But My child, the very rooms you tried to seal off are the ones I long to enter. For if there is any part of your heart where I am not invited, that very place will continue to hold power over you. And I cannot let that continue because I love you. Remember this, you are no longer the one carrying wounds, but the one carrying healing. You no longer live as a victim, but as one who is called. You are no longer wandering aimlessly. You are walking on a path written by my wise hand. And on that path, no step is wasted. No detour is meaningless. Everything you go through, whether you understand it now or not, will become a testimony of my unfailing goodness and faithfulness. My beloved, walk forward with boldness, not with arrogance, but with the confidence that you are never walking alone. You are carrying an entire kingdom behind you. You are a covenant heir. You are one upon whom my spirit has breathed. You are a messenger in the night. And when you step forward, the atmosphere will shift not because you are great, but because the one who lives in you is the King of the universe. Now is the time for you to learn a deeper truth. Sometimes the doors that close are not my rejection, but my protection. I must guard you from things that are not yet ready for you. Some places may seem fitting, yet they do not carry the fullness of blessing. Some people may appear to be companions, but they were only meant to walk with you for a season. There are things you desperately wanted to hold on to, but I love you enough to take them away. Do not keep weeping over what I have shut. Do not cling to what is no longer in your hands. For when something ends in me, it is not the end, it is the beginning of another page. A page I will write with you, using the ink of trust and the parchment of surrender. Every time you say yes in the midst of pain, you are opening the door for something greater to enter. I am repositioning you, not geographically, but spiritually. I am shifting your vision, redirecting your steps, and recalibrating your way of thinking. I am awakening your soul to be sensitive to divine timing. For in this season, those who listen to me will walk into things the world calls irrational, but heaven calls miraculous. Do not fear being different. You were not called to blend in. You were called to stand out, not in pride, but in identity. You belong to a kingdom that is not of this world. And because of that, you cannot measure your journey by worldly standards. Others may appear to succeed faster. They may be more praised. But I do not measure by those scales. I measure by faithfulness, by surrender, by your ability to keep your heart pure in a tainted world. My beloved child, guard your heart and keep it tender, for this world will try to harden it. Betrayal may come, lies may spread, but do not respond in the ways of the world. Do not let bitterness take root in you, for if you close your heart, you will no longer hear me clearly. Let me be your defender. Let me be your shield. Let me fight the battles where you need not draw a sword. Remember, what I am doing within you is far greater than what is happening around you. I am not just changing circumstances, I am transforming you. And you, when renewed by my spirit, will shift the atmosphere around you, not with striving, not with shouting, but simply by walking in faith and carrying the light in your eyes. You do not need to rush. What I have ordained will come at the appointed time. If you run ahead of me, you will grow weary. If you delay, you may miss divine moment. But if you walk with me, step by step, I will make everything align in harmony. I am the Lord of timing, And when my timing comes, it will come like the wind, unstoppable and never late. My beloved, now is the time for you to resonate in your own strength, but in the certainty that I have set your feet upon solid rock. You are no longer one tossed about by the opinions of others. You are no longer a leaf drifting in the storm of doubt. You are my child, sealed with eternal truth, and no lie of this world can erase that mark. Others may not yet see what I see in you. They may still question, but I did not wait for you to be perfect before calling you. I called you even in your uncertainty. And when you respond, I will turn your weakness into a place where my glory shines. I do not need you to be strong to do great things. I need you to trust me enough to walk even if your legs still tremble. You will begin to notice that even the smallest moments in your day carry spiritual meaning. A chance encounter, a whisper in your heart, a strange dream, a familiar scripture that suddenly blazes with new life. For I am opening your eyes to see what you once overlooked. I am giving you spiritual vision to look beyond the surface and recognize my movement even in the most ordinary things. Do not think that what you are doing is small. There is no such thing as a small act in my kingdom. A word of comfort, a kind gesture, a silent prayer of intercession, all of it echoes in heaven. I take note of each one. I treasure every honest effort. And on the day I call your name in public, what you have done in secret will become your public reward. Remember this, my child, faithfulness always leads to promotion. Not in the way the world applauds, but in the way I lift you up in humility, in steadfastness, in a deep understanding of the purpose for which you were born. While others seek the spotlight, I am giving you the foundation. While others rush to climb higher, I am driving your roots deeper into the ground. For the tree with deep roots is the one that stands firm in the storm. A new season is drawing very near, and this new season requires a new you. My child, I do not merely wrap your wounds and leave them there. I heal them at the root. I do not simply wipe your tears. I turn those tears into rivers that refresh others. You will find yourself speaking words that even you did not expect. Your heart will begin to stir for things that once felt ordinary, because you are entering the phase of living truly as yourself as the one I created before the foundations of the world. Let me say it again. This is the moment when I place my hand upon your shoulder and declare, you have waited long enough. Now it is time to step forward, not to impress, not to be admired, but to fulfill the mission I entrusted to you. There are souls waiting on your obedience. There are doors that will not open unless you say, yes. There are miracles that will not happen unless you dare to take the first step. I have prepared the path. I have sent angels ahead of you. I have lifted the burden. Now there is only one thing left. Are you ready to step forward, not with a loud answer, but with a small step? You don't need to understand everything, just believe. You don't need to over-prepare, just surrender, because if I have called you, I will also equip you. If I have chosen you, I will also protect you. If I have begun the work, I will surely bring it to completion. Always remember, when you walk, do not look back. Do not doubt. Do not compare. Instead, stay focused. Listen closely, and keep moving forward, step by step, in the light I provide. That light may not reveal the entire road, but it will always be enough to keep you from stumbling. This next chapter of your life will be nothing like the previous ones, for you are no longer walking as one trying to find the path, but as one who is already on the path I have prepared. What comes next will astonish you, not because it is grand, but because you will know without a doubt that it is not something you built for yourself, but something I prepared for you, my beloved child. Now that you have stepped out from the shadows of doubt, now that your soul has begun to breathe with the breath of trust, I invite you to look up and realize the door I promised is truly beginning to open. You are no longer in a season of waiting without confirmation. You are in a divine moment where your quiet obedience resounds throughout the heavens, the silent steps, the unseen prayers. The days you chose faithfulness in Weiranasevery, one of them has been recorded. And now, it is time for me to respond. Know this, an open door is not always heralded by a trumpet blast. Sometimes, it is simply an unshakable peace in the middle of a storm. Sometimes, it is a small shift in your daily rhythm, or a gentle stirring in your spirit that lets you know, I am at work. My child, do not wait for something dramatic before you believe I am moving. I often work in the stillness. I give life in the moments the world calls ordinary. My beloved child, from this very moment, you are standing at the turning point of an entirely new journey. And to enter it, you must learn something deeper, active surrender. It is not merely the absence of resistance, but a readiness to move forward, even when the full picture is not yet revealed. I will not show you the entire path, but I will always show you enough to take the next step. My child, you do not need a map. You only need a living relationship with the one who holds the compass. There may be voices from the outside trying to convince you that you are going the wrong way. There may be those who once walked with you who can no longer comprehend the new stirrings within your spirit, but do not seek confirmation from hearts that have not been called into the same season as you. They are not evil, but they are not the ones I have appointed to affirm your direction. My child, if you keep trying to carry along things that belong to the former season, you will bear unnecessary weight. Relationships, habits, thought patterns, whatever, no longer fits the season I'm leading you into. I will gently remove. Do not resist. Trust that my hand never takes without giving something better in return. You never lose in me. I am only making room so you can receive more. As you cross the threshold of this new door, I will place within your heart a sensitivity you have never known before. And through that sacred gift, you will no longer need to strain yourself to discern. I will teach you to hear my voice amidst the noise, to feel the rhythm of heaven in the midst of earthly chaos. I will train your spirit like that of a soldier alert, discerning and unshakable. You will witness something extraordinary. The very things that once terrified you will no longer hold the same power over you. Not because the circumstances have changed, but because you have changed. I am not only clearing the path before you, I am transforming you so you can walk it with steadfastness. My child, I call this the blessing greater than any physical healing, the blessing that comes from inner spiritual transformation. Dearest one, as you begin to live in this new sensitivity I am giving you, you will realize that not every opportunity is a divine invitation. Some doors may appear open, yet they do not carry peace. Some offers may shine with appeal, yet they rob your soul of stillness. I am teaching you that not everything that looks good is what I have chosen for you, and not everything that is easy is truly anointed. For that reason, be careful with every decision. Do not be drawn in by appearances, and do not be led by fleeting emotions. Learn to examine everything through the lens of my presence. If peace departs from you when considering a path, step back. If your heart is entangled in confusion, wait for my voice. I will never lead you down a path of pressure and force. I am the gentle shepherd who leads you beside green pastures and still waters. My beloved child, you will also come to realize that what I open for you will not always be accompanied by the applause of others. There are doors I open solely for you, doors meant for your feet alone to step through, with no company beside you, no spotlight to shine upon you. And it is precisely in that solitude that you will encounter me in a depth you've never known before. It is in that quiet place that I will speak words not meant for crowds. You will learn to treasure loneliness, not as a void, but as a sacred refuge where your soul is strengthened and matured. Do not be surprised if I cause you to take a few steps back for a time. Do not mistake it for regression. I never revoke my promises. But there are moments when I must slow your pace so you don't overlook what matters most. There are hidden stones that can only be seen when you slow down, stones that could cause harm if left unnoticed. Understand this. Walking with me is not just about forward momentum, it is about walking in the right direction. I want you to remember this important truth. Never measure your worth by someone else's timeline. Every person has a season that is uniquely appointed. Comparison will only lead you to discouragement or pride, and neither of these comes from me. Instead, let your heart overflow with gratitude, knowing that I am working in you in a way that is distinct, beautiful, and entirely rooted in love. You will begin to be entrusted with new assignments. They may not appear grand in the eyes of the world, but they carry eternal weight. I will send you to those teetering between faith and despair. You will become a voice of life, a hand to steady the weak, an intercessor standing in the gap, and you will be astonished by what I do through you, not because of your abilities, but because of your surrender. My beloved, always remember, I do not seek perfection in you, I seek willingness. When your heart whispers, "Here I am, Lord, send me," heaven responds not with thunderous applause, but with a quiet movement ignited by a tender heart and attentive ears. As you step into this new spiritual season, prepare yourself for a different kind of testing. No longer will it be about confusion over your identity, but about steadfastness in your calling. No longer will the temptations be obvious, but subtle, well-meaning compliments, untimely recognition, doors that I did not open. You must keep your spiritual ears attuned. Let wisdom be your compass, and do not allow fleeting attractions to divert you from the eternal path. Soon, you will find yourself drawn into spaces where my presence covers everything. In those moments, you will sense me, not merely through words, but through every breath, every glance, every heartbeat. Do not fear such spaces, and do not rush to leave them. Learn to linger with me. Let your soul be still long enough for me to touch the deepest chambers, places no one else has ever entered. Never forget that true transformation always happens in the hidden place, where no eyes watch but mine and yours. My beloved child, once I have moved deeply within your soul, your perspective on life will shift. The things that once wounded you will lose their grip. The voices that made you question your worth will no longer hold power. You will no longer feel the need to prove anything, because you will know you are chosen, you are loved, and you are commissioned. Know this, when you begin to live fully as the one I designed you to be, the darkness will not celebrate. There will be resistance. Battles will arise. But do not fear, for I am your warrior. I am the one who holds the victory. I do not merely give you armor, I myself am your refuge. My child, run into me when the winds howl. Let me be your stronghold and your shelter. I promise you will remain standing when the battle is over. Not because you are strong enough, but because I am with you, and I will uphold you to the very end. Do not underestimate the quiet steps you are taking. Every step resounds in the spiritual realm. Every prayer you offer is like an arrow striking the heart of the enemy. Every time you refuse to compromise, heaven is glorified. Nothing you do for me is ever wasted. All of it is being stored up in eternity. My child, you are standing at the intersection of calling and action. It is time for you not only to believe, but to live as one who believes, not only to hear, but to walk as one who has received orders, not only to wait, but to rise as one who carries the light. A significant door has been opened, and beyond that door are souls awaiting your presence, waiting to hear the voice of compassion through you, waiting for powerful acts from someone willing to say, "Here I am. Lord, know this, when you go, I will go with you. When you speak, I will place words upon your lips. When you lay your hands on the sick, I will pour out healing. My child, when you pray in secret, I will move in the open, not to exalt your name, but so the world may know that I am the Lord, and you are mine. My beloved, this is a season of action, a season of obedience, a season of sacred courage. And if you remain unshaken, if you continue to choose me each day, if your gaze stays fixed on heaven, then nothing I have promised you will be delayed any longer. As the doors open and you begin to walk the path I have prepared, I want you to learn to see my signs in the smallest of movements. Not every revelation from me will arrive in lightning or thunder. Some of my signs are hidden in the morning light, in the song of the birds at dawn, in the strange stillness of a wordless sunrise. You must learn to recognize me not only in power, but in simplicity, not only in the mighty call, but in the gentle whisper deep within your soul. When you expect me to arrive in thunder and flashes of light, I might come in a quiet breeze. When you think I will act with overwhelming authority, I may be building quietly beneath the surface, like a seed germinating in the darkness of the earth. You need new eyes to see, and new ears to hear, is no longer clouded by haste, and ears no longer deafened by the noise of doubt. I have always reminded you, I am leading you into a season where discernment will be essential. Not every spiritual movement comes from me. Not every stirring comes from my spirit. There are things that appear good, but are cleverly disguised deceptions meant to divert your course. There are voices that quote much scripture, yet lack the breath of life. There are things that bear my name but do not carry my nature. That is why you must not walk by feelings alone. You need a stronger foundation, one rooted in deep, personal, and direct knowledge of me. I do not want you to live off another's experience. I do not want you to borrow light from lamps whose oil is running dry. I want you to carry the flame I myself have lit inside your heart. That fire does not come from an emotional gathering or from eloquent teachings. It comes from a real encounter between you and me, and only that encounter will be enough to sustain you in the days to come, days that will not be easy. Days when the contrast between light and darkness will be sharper than ever before. My dear child, I remind you of a truth that is not easy to face. In this season, there will be people who walk away from you, not because you did something wrong, but because you are stepping into a depth they are not willing or ready to follow. They will not understand the transformation happening within you. They may think you have become distant or strange, but do not be troubled by it. Every time I call someone to rise to a higher place, separation becomes inevitable. It is not a loss, it is a purification. I am refining the circle around you, not to leave you in isolation, but to protect what I am birthing within you. And you will see, when you are willing to let go of the approval of the crowd, you will receive confirmation from heaven. I will begin to give you revelations that do not come from books or classrooms, but from intimate communion with me. I will teach you things that only those who walk closely with me can hear. You will come to understand my intentions, not through logic, but through your spirit hand that will become an unshakable foundation within you. I know there are moments when you wonder, why must I take the harder path? Why must I surrender more than others? Why can't I live simply like everyone else? And I say to you clearly, because you were never created to live like everyone else. You were called to be holy. You were set apart from the crowd. You are a carrier of fire, not to keep yourself warm, but to illuminate the darkness of the places you are called to walk into. That is why I train you more strictly. That is why I ask you to let go of things others are allowed to keep. That is why even the smallest matters stir the conviction of my spirit in your heart, not because you are being controlled, but because you are being prepared for a greater assignment. And a great assignment cannot be carried by a soul still weighed down with personal ambition, or a heart still bound by the need for human affirmation. Let me teach you how to live simply, yet powerfully. I want to show you how to walk in a life that is quiet, yet shakes the spiritual realm. I am not looking in you for a loud voice, but for an enduring faith, not outward busyness, but inward depth. For only those who are nourished in the secret place can stand firm in the public space. Know this, humility is the foundation of everything I am building in you. Not false humility, not the kind that bows out of courtesy, but a deep awareness that without me, you can do nothing. A heart that recognizes that everything you carry, everything you possess, everything you display, flows from my relentless mercy. And it is this humility that will guard you from the trap of spiritual pride, the very thing that has caused so many to stumble after I've raised them up. You will need this humility, for greater doors are being prepared to open before you. I do not want them to open until you are ready. I do not desire influence to come before your spirit is mature enough to carry it well. I do not want miracles to become the bait that leads to arrogance, but to be the altar at which you bow in gratitude and love my presence more than ever before. My beloved child, I will place within your heart burdens that do not originate from man, but from my very own heart. You will weep for souls you have never met. You will feel a deep unrest for lands your feet have never touched. Your spirit will tremble each time I move in the unseen realm. That will be the moment you no longer live merely for yourself, but begin to live as an intercessorone who stands in the gap between earth and heaven, between pain and hope. And know this, I do not place such burdens upon you to wear you out. I place them upon you because I trust you, because I see the faithfulness within your heart, because I know you will not merely feel, but act not out of obligation, but out of love. And that love, the kind that seeks no recognition, asks for no reward, and needs no one to see, will be the very force that keeps you going even when there is no applause. There is one thing I want you to etch into your spirit as a sacred covenant. You absolutely do not walk alone, even when you feel isolated. Even when those closest to you fail to understand, I am still there quietly, faithfully, intimately, never leaving your side. When you exhale in weariness during the night, I hear you. When you strive to stand strong amid trembling, I witness it. When you choose what is right with no one around to acknowledge it, I record it. Nothing done in me is ever wasted. No moment of surrender is ever in vain. There will come a day when you look back and realize it was in those seemingly silent years that I sowed into you the most precious treasures. It was the quiet perseverance that laid the foundation for sudden leaps you never expected. It was faithfulness in the smallest of things that became the gateway to great assignments. And in that moment, you will understand, every season of waiting carried purpose. Every hardship was part of my training, and every tear watered the harvest that is to come. You will be led to a place where your vision is no longer confined by present circumstances. I will lift you higher, not to look down on others, but to see broader, farther. I want you to see what I see, not only what is visible now, but what I am preparing behind the curtains. I want you to learn not merely to react, but to respond intentionally according to my will, not just to survive, but to release the fullness of what I have deposited within you. You will become a stream of life. You will not hold back what I give you. My love, my comfort, my encouragement, my teaching, everything I pour into you will flow outward like an ever-running river. And that river will bring refreshing to the dry lands around you. There will be people who never knew they were thirsty until they encounter you. The very presence you carry will become living proof of a God who has never abandoned them. But for that river to stay fresh, you must remain deeply connected to the source. Never become so busy that you forget to meet with me. Never let ministry replace intimacy. Never let working for me cause you to neglect abiding in me. For nothing you do can truly bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine. You are the branch. Apart from me, you can do nothing. My beloved child, be courageous and move forward. You have come too far to turn back. You have seen too much to still doubt. You have experienced me enough to know this truth. I am real. I am faithful. And I am the one who never breaks a promise. Hold firmly to what you have received. Walk with feet that are clothed in reverent fear and eyes filled with hope. For you are not merely living for the present, you are preparing for eternal life. This is the moment when you no longer live for applause. This is the time you live for my gaze. This is the season when you no longer act to be seen, but because you have already been known, not by the world, but by heaven. You are known. You are named. You are chosen. Now, as you have walked through the barren places of the soul, as each step has been soaked with tears, prayer, and silent yeses, I say to you, you have arrived at the threshold of fulfillment. This is not merely the beginning of a new chapter, it is the unveiling of the entire story I have been quietly writing within you for years. You have come farther than you realize in distance. But in spiritual depth, no one sees everything you have endured. No one fully understands the inner wrestlings, the endless nights that felt like they would never end. But I have seen it all, and not a single breath held in to keep from breaking. Not a single tear swallowed to keep walking has escaped the loving gaze of my eyes. When everything seemed to go silent, it was not the end. It was the moment when heaven and earth held their breath before a new spiritual birth. You are no longer someone merely learning to believe. You are becoming someone who lives from faith, a faith that has passed through fire, descended into valleys, and stood firm when everything else collapsed. This is the kind of faith no longer swayed by outcomes, but grounded in the deep knowing of the one to whom you belong. You have learned that miracles don't always come in an instant. Sometimes, the miracle is simply standing up one more time. It is forgiving when you have every reason to be bitter. It is choosing love while still healing. It is praying again even when the answer hasn't come. And that is why I call you victorious, not because you never fell, but because you never gave up. This is the moment I bring you to the mountaintop, not to boast, but to gain perspective. The pieces of your life that once made no sense will now begin to align. The turns that once felt wrong will now be seen as divine shortcuts toward your destiny. The ones who left will now be revealed as part of a temporary season. And I have always been the author, writing your story with a perfection that no one else could match. Look back and you will see. It was in the moments when you could not feel me, when you felt the most empty, that I was forming the truest version of you. I did not give you strength through abundance, but through lack, not through the noise of the crowd, but through the quiet, not through the multitude, but in the small room where it was just you and me. Know this, my child, you have found the most precious thing, my presence. Nothing can substitute for that, not success, not status, not praise. Only I, the one who knows you most intimately and still chooses to love you with an unshakable love, can fill the deepest void in your soul. When you realize that my presence is the destination, everything else becomes a means to get there. You no longer chase blessings, for you have met the blesser. You no longer despair over unanswered prayers, because you now understand that the waiting itself has become the answer. And when your spirit steps into contentment in me, that is the moment you become dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. For a person who is no longer driven by anything other than obedience is someone I can use to shake an entire generation. My child, you are that one. My beloved child, you do not need to have all the answers. You only need to keep saying yes each day. Do not worry about which doors need to open. Do not stress about how far you must go. I will be the one to lead you. You only need to stay close to me, and my eyes will guide your every step. Even now, I know you are tired. You have endured long battles and carried silent wounds from relationships you once thought were safe, only to be met with deep pain. But I did not allow these things to happen to harden you. I allowed them so that the layers of defense you built around yourself would be peeled away. In time, you will see that it was through those wounds that my light could finally shine in. There will be moments when you do not know what to say or what to do. Do not rush to find solutions. Be still in me. Let me pour into you wisdom from above. This wisdom does not come from books, but from intimate connection with my heart. And when you open your mouth, people will not be drawn to eloquence, but they will sense my presence. That is the mark of one who has lingered long in the secret place with me. You will soon realize that the things you once deemed small and ordinary will become miracles in my hands. A gentle word, a compassionate glance, a quiet act of kindness. I will use them all to touch the hearts of others, for you are not called to perform, but to reflect. It is not your creativity that will change lives, but my presence within you that will do the transforming. My beloved, tenderness is not weakness. A heart that still feels is not a burden. Do not try to become cold just to protect yourself. Let me be your defender. Keep loving. Keep believing in the good. Keep opening your heart. For I will give you the wisdom to know your boundaries, yet still preserve the wholeness of your soul. You will not be hurt the way you were before, not because others have changed, but because you have been healed, not because the world has become softer, but because your spirit has been made firm, and that firmness does not come from striving, but from surrendering into my arms. I want you to enter this final stretch of your journey not with a mindset of closure, but with a heart wide open, for this is not the end, but the gate into eternal depth. I am not calling you to simply live a good life. I am calling you into covenanta life, in which every breath carries the weight of heaven, and every step lays foundation for a generation to follow. Look at who you have become. From someone who once doubted their worth, you are now walking with the certainty that you were chosen by the one who makes no mistakes. From someone who fell many times, you now stand not because you are flawless, but because you have learned how to rise with me. You no longer fear failure, because you have come to see each fall as a lesson in love. You no longer fear abandonment, for your name has been engraved on the palm of my hand. And now that the old things have passed away, I give you a new name, not a title before man, but a spiritual mark recognized in heaven. The enemy will know that you are no longer who you used to be. The forces that once intimidated you will have no more authority. For I have clothed you in the armor of light and placed in your hand a sword that cannot break my word, living and active within you, my beloved child. From this moment on, you no longer live in reaction, you live with intention. You are no longer one who follows the crowd, you are one who leads the way. You are no longer waiting for opportunities to come, you are creating the atmosphere for my glory to be revealed. Not by power, not by manipulation, but through serving. You will do small things with great love, and that is how you will touch the forgotten souls. There will be people who come to you, not because they know who you are, but because they sense peace, a peace not born of learned skills, but from the presence you carry. They will ask, "Why are you not like everyone else?" And you will smile and to receive honor for yourself, but to give glory to me. Because every time they see the light in you, they are catching a glimpse of the one who walked with you through the shadows. This is the time when I want you to understand more clearly than ever, nothing you have gone through has been in vain. From joy to tears, from success to disappointment, I have used it elevery momenta's perfect pieces to form a real and living masterpiece. Not one to hang on the wall for display, but a mirror through which others may see themselves and dare to step into their own story where I am already waiting. Just as I waited for you. Right now, I ask you to pause for a moment. Place your hand over your heart and feel the deepest truth I have ever spoken to you. You were not just saved. You were sent. You were not only called out of darkness, you were chosen to bring light back into it, not only for yourself, but for countless souls longing for truth, waiting for someone brave enough to speak, to live, and to love the way heaven loves. I am placing upon you a fire that will never go out, not a fleeting flame of emotion, but one sustained by communion, surrender, and unconditional love. Even when strong winds blow, even when tears fall, that flame will not be extinguished, because I myself am the one breathing life into it. And from that fire, light will spread not through display, but through authenticity, not through noise, but through presence. You have walked this journey with courage. Now it is time to continue with steadfastness. What I have taught you in secret will become your weapon in the open. What you learned when you fell will become the foundation for those still stumbling. You won't need to strive to influence. You are the influence. Because your presence will carry an unseen current that hearts can sense, even if they do not yet know what to call it. But you know it is me. I will continue to speak to you, not just through grand revelations, but through the smallest details. A stirring in your heart as you pass a stranger, a sudden flash of light while reading a familiar verse, a dream that feels blurry, yet carries a weight you cannot deny. This is how I stay close to you, not with fanfare, but with gentleness and intimacy. You will live a life of covenant, not one bound by rules, but tethered by love, not driven by duty, but led by a divine passion. And people will see, through the way you live, that there is something different, something unexplainable, yet undeniable. That is the imprint of my presence. Keep your lamp burning bright. Stay awake. Do not let anything steal away the simple devotion you once had with me. When the world around you grows complicated, remember, I am not far. Just return to that quiet place, the one where you first whispered, "Yes, I am still there waiting, loving, and ready to walk with you once more." My beloved child, when the appointed time comes, when the things I have promised begin to unfold, you will not feel overwhelmed, for your soul has already been prepared. You will not be confused, for your mind has been aligned. You will not tremble, for your heart has been established in my presence. You will step forth, not as one who comes to receive, but as one who comes to give, not as a bystander, but as an active participant in the grand design of the Creator. And as you go, you will leave footprints not upon the sand, but within the souls of others, the footprints of one who walked through the fire yet was not consumed, one who journeyed through darkness but never lost the light. You are that one. I am waiting for you ahead in every moment yet to come. In every soul you will touch, in every word you will speak, in every heartbeat of a life wholly devoted to me. This is not the end. This is the beginning of what I have ordained from eternity past. Step out now into the light, into love, into power. Subscribe and turn on notifications to receive the living words together, to build unshakable faith, and to walk in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.